we are. We are live for
Hmm.
episode 7 of As We Heal, the 21-day water fast, intimate healing journey with myself, Chris Dub, and special guests. And this is actually, I'm now completed the 21 days of drinking only water, and this is day 2 of the very methodical refeeding integration process, which is one of the biggest reasons why I chose to do this at the fasting center. I wanted to nail the integration. I feel like this integration is, well, even more important than any medicine ceremony I've ever done, but I very much relate it to the integration of medicine ceremonies, and we will definitely be going into that today. We have here yet again an amazing special guest who's been here with me since the very beginning, since the first episode, Mr. Elliott, Dante Spina. He is a holistic wellness coach, as well as a good friend of mine, and he's been a great support in this process. So I want to thank you so much for that, brother, because I'm out of the woodworks at this point, but there's still much involved in the process, which I'm excited
Yeah.
to get into. And just wanted to pass it over to you just for a moment, just to maybe share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, Chris, I'm a holistic health and wellness coach, practitioner, and I've been on this journey into healing and what it really means to be healthy on a holistic level. And I really stand for people living their best life, and I believe that the foundation for that really starts with the body. It's the temple; it holds everything. It's the foundation. And I think it's one of the things that in spirituality can be very easily overlooked as we focus more on wanting to get into heightened states of quote unquote enlightenment or awareness or consciousness. And yeah, we can't forget about the body. So
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
mm,
Okay, so why don't we just start with just a way to ground into this experience right now. So just want to find a nice tall seated posture. And just for the next few breaths, breathing however feels good for you. And on your next inhale, rolling the shoulders up and back. Bring them down out the mouth. Gently closing the eyes. Relaxing your sit bones into the seat below. Letting go of any tension in the tailbone. Relaxing your perineum. And sitting up nice and tall, chest and heart up and out, chin slightly in towards the back of your neck. And just simply being aware of your next 3 breaths in and out the nose. Noticing your shoulders relaxing, melting away from your ears. And just gently drawing your attention to the sense of center of your heart. Feeling this well of compassion at your heart center, this home of the infinite love that you are. Giving yourself this opportunity, this gift to bask in the very presence of you. Being aware of your existence as an individual. And also noticing there's even an awareness of this. And on the next inhale, let your belly soften and expand, chest and heart open up. Let it out the mouth. You might have heard an alarm there. I kept that on purpose because after each meal, we're to wait 45 minutes to drink after eating, and this is good practice in general. At least 30 minutes,
Yeah.
and 15 minutes before eating. So everything I've been learning here, and learned a lot coming in, but I think I'm learning here is like to a T on like almost every level when it comes to optimal living. So I'm so grateful to be building and cementing in these habits, and I'm ready if you have any questions for me today, Elliott.
Yeah, well, I think we've been talking a little bit last couple of days, especially as you finished your fasting portion. I know, and I watched your first sip, your first sip of just like, oh, like it was just
Coconut
so,
water.
yeah, coconut water, and it was just, man, like I could just feel everything, like literally I could feel it all, the gratitude, like the transformation. I could feel how proud you were of yourself. I'd really like to know, like, what's something that's like really poignant. Is there anything right now here for you that's like really poignant, like that you just want to share? Could be for yourself, could be for anyone that may be tuning in. Doesn't matter, like whatever that's there. I just want to give you that space.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Well, yeah. First of all, won't I won't gush too much, but yeah, I am really really proud of myself. Something I've wanted to do for a long time, and yeah, this was a incredibly challenging journey at times, and yeah, I had it at a few times. I feel like I had definitely some, well, more than a few times, noticing mental weakness, but even a few times where I'm like, okay, maybe I'll finish at day 15 or 16, or maybe I'll finish at day 19, and yeah, as things went on, especially after like day 13, I just feel like I almost got stronger every single day, and I really attribute a lot of that to my meditative practice, and it really, really helped me through. And all the outlets that I have, all the people that I have to reach out to, including you, Elliott, just really supported a lot. And yeah, today I'm quite excited to share about the integration process. And like I said at the beginning, to relate that into plant ceremony integration, which obviously as a facilitator is something very very big in my life. And to get my mindset around eating mono meals, especially to start the day, has been a challenge. It's something that I wanted to implement more often before I came here, but I was in such a habit of just like combining food, and I know that when you eat mono meals, just one thing in a meal, your system is going to digest it the easiest, and it's also very nice to give yourself and optimal to give yourself something that is easy to digest and assimilate in the mornings. Um, it starts to kickstart your digestion and then doesn't give you too much work to do, because as soon as the body is digesting and like really having to digest a lot and do a lot of work, it takes energy every single time, you know. So we really need to get aware, and I'll speak for myself. I've needed to get more and more aware of like, where is that for my system? Where is that point for my body where it's like it gets past that threshold where now it's like what you're eating is almost like defeating, like what you're doing. You're taking so much energy to like digest, and in reality, maybe you could have eaten a lot less, or something different, and it would have been less energy to digest, and you would have received more energy from it. So starting here now with just having coconut water the first day, I had 5 cups every 2 hours.
Wow.
So delicious. And my hydration was amazing, because we do the stats each day, and I actually dropped, like, which doesn't it's not totally accurate, because I think I dropped almost a pound of body fat today, and then I gained like a pound of muscle mass. So that's not those
Just
aren't
from
exact
the
numbers, but
just from just from the coconut water itself?
yeah, the hydration. So we
Right.
also got to think, when it comes to muscle, like, we're still dealing with
Water.
mainly water, so yeah, and then just, you know, really yesterday, if I was to choose what I really most wanted, it would have been papaya. But like, I'm like really listening to my body and just like, what, just freaking fasted for 21 and a half days. Let's just go real easy. Let's get a ton of electrolytes, and let's go coconut water. And, like, that was already like, that was like the first test of discipline. It's like, nice to have some substance, to have something super tasty like papaya, even though the coconut water was, oh my God, like, mwah, like best I've ever had. But still, and then even this morning, so I would look for the papaya, but my system was asking for watermelon. It's like almost probably the easiest next thing to digest, and mostly
For
water.
sure.
You know,
Like
so
90% water.
yeah, and it was delicious, and it wasn't a huge serving, but it was nice. So my next meal, I will go with papaya. Papaya is, obviously great with the enzymes, among other things, and they're so delicious in Costa Rica. Like, oof, next level. But like, to just take the time, because if you think about it this way, like, when it comes to anything that we ingest, anything, even skin products, and all these things, but like anything that we ingest, um, to really know the impact, we need to experience basically each thing on its own to really know what the experience is. It's like, people know what the experience is of, like, say, drinking beer. Everyone knows that. Most people know the experience of smoking cannabis. Most people know the experience of drinking milk, water, coconut water. But we don't always let ourselves just experience certain foods one thing at a time. I bet there's a lot of foods you could probably think about that you've actually never experienced just on its own. You know,
Mm.
even potatoes. You might have had as French fries. That's all fried up. It's like, if you just had, say, a baked potato, maybe, but or like eggplant. Have you just had a meal where you just had eggplant? You know,
Mm.
um, these kind of things, when it comes to herbs. Even teas. It's like, have you ever had it just the one? Like, maybe you've always had lavender, but you've had tulsi with it, or something like this. And
Mm.
so when we eat mono, it gives our system a chance to really, like, okay, I can see what's going on. I can really enjoy the flavor and the taste of this. And so often we will want to, like, add to the taste. We want to have like a little something, like this or that. And in reality, nature has so many things that are already perfect, just the way they are. Like all the fruits, like they're perfect. And if we take the time to make sure we pick ripe ones, pick the ones that are high quality, um, as far as clean 15 or organic. It's a big ant on my keyboard. Um, and make sure that you're really aware of, like, the dirty dozen, not buying that if they're not organic, and, like, really taking the time to enjoy um, each thing at a time, and then you can just eat more of that one thing. So that's how I'm going to be eating moving forward for the first 2 meals of my day. Like, that's how I'm
Mm.
setting up for when I leave here. It's going to be fruit meal, big fruit meal, another big fruit meal, maybe 3 if I want to make them smaller, if my system, like, needs that, and then I'm going to do, like, a big salad. And that's how it's going to go for a while, and until my system, like, really adapts, and I really see where I'm at. Because like it's in Ayurveda, for example, they say you should eat till you're 75% full.
Yeah.
And I can only speak for myself. Most of the time, I'm eating past the point of full, or it's feeling uncomfortable. And I'm not necessarily at that point of full or like getting that 75%, but even it feels uncomfortable because of the food combination. So maybe I even want to
Right.
stop even a bit earlier, just because I've combined so many food, and it's just not like just not going that well, even though I might not feel totally sustained. And and then also when we're not cleansed out as much, sometimes we want to just keep eating because we're not assimilating the nutrients as much. So we just want to like keep having more food because we're not feeling totally nourished. And then sometimes we
Yeah.
just need to like wait a bit to make sure that there's time for the system to assimilate and really see where we're at. So this process to me is like very spiritual. It creates a lot of discipline, and it's and you get to enjoy your food more without being like, oh, let's add some more salt, or let's get some maple syrup, or let's put some extra of this, or oh, it could use that because it would taste better. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, but it's like eating's not just about taste. Eating's about what's best for your body first and foremost, primarily. And if we are not basically like calibrated in that, and calibrated in a place where we are truly listening to the intuition of our body, we aren't going to feel fully satisfied, you know. And things could taste the best they possibly could, but we're not going to be completely satiated and completely nourished. So that's like a big message I wanted to send today, because I feel like this can exactly relate to an integration process with in relation to plant medicine ceremonies, because so often we're eating emotionally,
Yeah.
and that even though you might not be emotional, even say your first or second meal, or the first meal after your ceremony, the day after the ceremony, you just kind of start eating what you're used to eating, or like eating the amounts you're starting used to eating, that might not be what's actually like good for you and what your system's wanting. And then all of a sudden you're wondering why you have some brain fog throughout the day, or you have this fatigue, and in reality your system is digesting maybe way more than it needs to, or the food combinations are out of whack, which I'm going to end up likely starting more of a YouTube channel like this podcast is on YouTube, because food combination is like such a huge thing, and I've had digestive issues for so long. So this is something I'm really passionate about, like really dialing this stuff in, and I'm grateful that I get this like starting from scratch opportunity
Mm.
to yeah, just really go at it in the finest way possible. And this doesn't mean, that everybody needs to go at things this way, but I'm just saying this can really help to get your mind straight, to get more energy. And by mind straight, I mean like clear your mind, get more energy, and just to feel good while eating and after eating.
Yeah, that all makes a lot of sense. I'm You did say something about like after like day 3 having like 2 or 3 meals. Is that still, are you still thinking about doing, are you still going to be doing like the mono, like only eating one thing, like one fruit for each of those meals? Or are you thinking about like um just like fruits in general?
Um, so more so fruits in general.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but basically I want to give my body the least work it can, give it the most optimal foods. If my body's like, and I'm talking like a lot of fruit, like I mean like this could be like 6 mangoes, like
Yeah.
in a meal,
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, just having that, or having 3 papayas, and just that, and then that's it. And because even once the body starts digesting more fats and proteins, it takes a lot longer transit time. The food's more, the food's in there longer, and you can imagine if you're doing that all the time, your body's not really totally catching up, and that's when you start to accumulate more waste matter that eventually stays in the body, that turn into toxins and different poisons in the body that can turn to disease, especially when you bring in more of the energetic aspects and
Yeah.
just emotion, not processing your emotions, not moving your energies, and all of these things. It leads to a lot of issues, and I think it leads to a lot more issues than what people recognize. A lot of people are not realizing why they are sick, and they don't want to admit that their diet has more to do with it. And it's not, obviously it's not the diet completely, but it has a big part to do with it. And if you start changing the diet, you might actually find it easier to work with your emotions and see what your belief systems are and these kind of things.
It's so true. And, you touched on something in relation to how you want to incorporate what you've learned and the new wisdom and knowledge that you have around food and food combinations and eating habits and whatnot into integration for plant medicine. And, from what I know, there are certain foods that are contributed to more anxiety tendencies, or that will make you more giddy, like, or have like more like ADD or ADHD tendencies. And I know also like Ayurveda too, like there's certain energetic properties to different foods, um, like root vegetables or fruits. um, so it makes a lot of sense. Not just that, but as we go through life, we can tend to create almost like these attachments to certain foods. Like how people say comfort food. Same thing. It's like, well, what is that for you? It's like the same reason why I'm not doing this as pick on women or anything like that, but like, during their moon time or their bleed time, there's certain foods that they're drawn to, certain things that give them that sense of security or feel good, or chocolate. And chocolate and ice cream is like that one thing that you hear about like so often, like when it, like, as a general statement.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And especially in relation to food combinations as well, like, and this reminds me of like bodybuilding, as you spoke about fat. And I've seen on like the internet, like all these people like, yeah, I'm getting red on all this muscle, and it's like they have like a giant steak and like some cottage cheese, and then they'll have like something else, and then you'll see like a portion of like fruit, and it's like, so you're mixing protein, dairy, and then fruit, and it's like that's just like a terrible disaster, like waiting to happen over a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
um, so
Your
yeah.
body, those foods will start to ferment
Yes.
in your body, and yeah, and it could end up staying in there for quite a bit. It's like our system does a lot of work every single day. And one of the contributing factors to my health issues that started 14 years ago, that led all the way to this kind of like big completion journey in my healing process. Although there's still a process obviously here, moving forward. But that's what I was eating. I was eating a ton of meat and pasta, barely any vegetables, barely any fruit actually.
Wow.
But and just eating so much of it. My system, and whey protein, my system just didn't have time to like process it all. And even just you're talking about the bodybuilding world, yeah, think about it. Whey protein shakes in smoothies. So you're
Yeah.
having all this fruit mixed with whey protein, this like dairy, and so
Wow.
you're getting fat, and if you add fats in there and the protein, that is like a fermentation like mess waiting to happen. And this actually reminds me, well, I don't know if I went to Marineland. It might have even been that. I've seen the documentaries and everything since, but this was like, I don't know. This was like right around the time that I got sick. I was like 23. I was still like quite jacked. I remember before going there, I went to this bodybuilding shop, and I ordered a frozen yogurt protein smoothie. It was like a yogurt protein smoothie, and I ended up being so constipated, and like I had massive pains like all
Mm.
throughout my body. I didn't even know what was going on until I finally like let it out, and I had like such a relief. But like it was literally awful. And I was already at my point, I'd already got sick at that point, so my system was already compromised. But it was like whoa, to see that dramatic of an impact, like had me like reeling on the ground in pain, like not being able to even walk with them anymore at the Marine Land. It's just
Holy.
like crazy, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. I don't think I've ever experienced anything quite like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, as you're doing this refeeding process, and we got into it a little bit just before we got on the live here. Given that you haven't been doing a whole bunch of like asanas or any of like the physical practices, what do you see to be like your regimen as a part of like integrating these things like back into your life? I know like yoga is like such a big component for you. Like how do you see yourself slowly getting back into them, and like what would you be doing first, and like yeah.
Yeah, so even today I'll be getting into some gentle stretching. Like I've been doing, child's pose, baby pose. Um, been doing some like mild things. I realized I should have more often been getting into like a full half lotus, because as I've been doing that, especially on some of like, I was doing that more from like day 15 to 21, it was just helping the energy flow so much better. It was like sometimes you're just so weak and they're telling you to rest, so I'm just like leaning back, like should I even be using my back muscles to keep myself up? But I realized that the more though your energy channels are open, no matter what you're doing, I think it's a good thing. You might not be able to do it as often as you would like, but so I'll even just be getting in that posture more often, be doing some nice yin and restorative stretches more. I'm hoping to be able to go on my first like short hike tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to make myself on the next day, but I'm already going to get to do even some strength training stuff. Get to do some calisthenics. They have some like outdoor bars here, so I'll do some bar work. I'll start off slow, but the thing is, this is now the elimination process. I haven't, well, besides I said in the little video, I had like a little turd that I had to literally force out. If I didn't, it wouldn't have come at like day 8. But technically, like I food in the morning on my day 1 of the fast. Now this is 23 days. I really haven't had a bowel movement, you know,
Mm.
and so it's crazy. Think about it, It's like you ever
Yeah.
gone 23 days without a bowel movement, it's wild. But so they say usually you'll have one by the 4th day, but you need to get movement going. So all the things that I've mentioned, it's like if you want a proper elimination, because if your body is not eliminating properly, you're not healthy, period. you know that's more important even than the nutrients that you're getting, because it doesn't matter, you're just not going to take stuff in very well if your body is not eliminating properly, because there's reasons why your body is not eliminating properly. Your body's doing other work, and it's doing that other work. It's not even getting to a point where it's eliminating properly. It's very unlikely that it's assimilating nutrients very well among other things, as well as like the major organ functions and this type of stuff. So there'll definitely be a big focus on movement and continuing to up my pranayama. I'll be starting to do some more things like breath of fire, and just some more breaths that are a little more intense. I might go to my patented Kundalini Wim Hof breath work. I'll get back into within the next couple days, and I'm probably going to I do something similar to like sun salutation, so I'll be getting into that by day 4 as well. And so yeah, that's a really integral part of this process. So yeah, thank you for asking that question.
Yeah. Yeah, my pleasure. Um, I know we touched on it a little bit too, but were you ever able to get up early enough or go to bed like with the sun and being able to do any sun gazing, or just curious?
Yep. Yeah, mainly at sunset. Um, but that practice definitely helped a lot too. We've had to, it's challenging too, because you have to minimize your time with the sun. So, for example, if you were doing like a coconut water fast, which is something I will definitely do at one point, um, I feel like at one point I'll have a place here with my beloved, whether it be in Costa Rica or somewhere tropical, at some point in our lives. But like you can do like a 40-day coconut water fast, and then you're still getting all your electrolytes, still got good energy. You can spend your days at the beach, you can get more sun. But when you're just doing water, you can't afford to lose your electrolytes. And if you're looking to do a fast on the highest level, you won't take anything in your body, like literally nothing besides water. So you hear people, I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm hearing people that, that take electrolytes while they're fasting. But like optimally, you want to get your body to be able to do everything it needs to do on its own. Like if you want to get to like the most optimal. So I've had to limit to like 15, 20 minutes a day in the sun.
Mm. One last thing. This is something that I think, and it's good to like kind of circle back to, because at the beginning, I don't know, I felt like you're gonna unlock like a whole bunch of different things and like I don't know, get some superhuman powers or something. But regardless if that happened or not, I just wanted to know, like what's, and maybe it's a kind of like a big open-ended question, but were there any like really you know like big spiritual downloads or like lessons or any type of like quote unquote like abilities or anything that have like come through or come online since doing this, given that you've just been connecting more with yourself and more with the universe and God, and doing lots of prayer work and whatnot. And I'm just curious, is there anything that's there?
Hyper focus for sure. My level of concentration and like dhyana, like one pointed focus has increased impeccably, uh, which is amazing. Um, my level of clarity and just ability to use my imagination and apply it to any creatively to any endeavor that I'm working on, and be able to just like kind of just like figure it all out and like new ideas, innovations. Like I can, I'm accessing that at will, and I'm just not letting myself go into certain areas, so I just don't have more work to do. You know what I mean? Like just like I know all the things that I want to be getting at. So my ability to um, use my imagination effectively has greatly increased. And yeah, I would say I'm a lot more settled within myself. Um, a lot more settled within myself. Um, loving myself that much more, and the power of prayer is real. When you see how much you genuinely desire the best for those around you, it's like I get vibrations all throughout my body, and it feels good, so good, and the level of gratitude that's continuing to increase in me. And now that I'm still only at day 2 of the refeeding, like there's still so much goodness. Like once I get things eliminating, I'm going to feel like on that much more of a level. So um, my intuition is increasing a lot. Like I've already writing like some music, and I'm like, it's when you kind of just hit the sweet spot with something, it's just like that sweet spot moment is like just like it's just so much more accessible. I think after the eliminations too, it's going to be on another level. So um, yeah, it's big for my clairsentience. It's coming back online on a whole another level. My ability to just like feel, the truth, and like feel into, oh, this is this, or this is that, this is that. I'm seeing energy a lot more. Something I've always have been able to do. I don't see auras, but I can like. It's hard to describe, but I almost like see like organisms in the sky, and like it's very complicated. I'm not going to go into it right now. Much complicated, but it would be more something I have to draw out to understand
Right.
it. Um, and yeah, and the stability. It's the final thing to just let things go. Like just know more like what, what I have power around, and like very aware of, oh, this next connection is making me feel like more this way, and to just be okay with that, and something I've practiced a lot of, but like, you know, however any particular relationship dynamic is how it is, but often what it is more relates to our perception, and you know, um, so long as we find right relationship with ourselves, then we can be in loving relationship with anybody, no matter how they feel about you, no matter where they're at, and we just kind of let go of thinking of where they're at, and just like and just being, then you know if they need to address things, or if they need to address things, then great. And if you really feel like something needs to be addressed, great. But like, I kind of really know where that's at with basically all my main relationships, and so it feels so good. Like I've always been done a lot of work around that, like not avoiding, things, but like now it's on like a completely another level. And you know, like it's just so beautiful to accept life as it is, because you know I I don't know, how things are going to be tomorrow. I don't know how things are going to be a week from now,
Mm.
and I just want to be able to meet myself where I'm at, and I see that wherever I'm at is never too much. It's never. In fact, life's kind of easy. Like when you know, when you're just kind of meeting yourself moment by moment. Like it's not that hard. Like
Mm.
we make it seem hard, but like, is it? Is it really? You know. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, I'd say that's where things are at.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, and I definitely got some gold out of what you've shared. Some golden nuggets of wisdom.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad. Um, we might have you back on one more time, but if not, I just want to ask you a question, and just kind of see what you've gotten, um, throughout this time together, and yeah, and just, I know you've been going through obviously all your own inner processes, and because we've been closer here, I'm sure we've impacted each other in particular ways. But yeah, I'd just love to hear an overview.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the month of April was like honestly like pretty nuts, and being being closer with you through this experience, and even noticing like some certain parallels of things that we were kind of like both going through, which I felt was like very interesting. Um, what I really saw is the just being, literally just being. Um, the impact on me was just like I've I've been seeing myself go through so much of like this mental like back and forth, with like expectations and just like certain thought patterns, and letting them come up to shed and to dissolve and to meet myself with more love and more compassion. And as I see you going through this, um, on different levels, just like how you're able to hold yourself through all of that, and how I'm learning how to do that more and more for myself, and to realize that that connection, like that relationship with myself, is like the most important thing to foster, and it's like what I'm giving my all to right now. um, the impact of like being a part of this for me, is also just to show up, you know, just to show up, say that I'm going to do something, and do it. Being able to be there for you, and I knew how special and important this was for you, and so being able to be that and be that space for you, um, was an honor, And it's something that I know that, you know, for you, this experience for you is going to be something you're going to remember for your whole life. And I'm really appreciative to be a part of it, and to be, you know, to have that closeness and that kinship and that brotherhood. And how I'm going to take this, whatever, like just the whole process, and the wisdom and everything, like into my life, is just being more kind to myself, slowing down, like really slowing down a lot, and not be so much like in a rush to like do and like go to the next thing, or to push myself to be anything more than like with what I'm comfortable at. So while still like pushing, you know, like the envelope a little bit, but like not like way more out of like off balance, which is like what I've been doing for a majority of my life. And it's actually been causing a lot of harm and a lot of pain, and a lot of hurt, and a lot of unmet expectations. And coming in, yeah, just being all of that for me. And I really want to be an example for what it's like to like really love yourself, to live healthily on a holistic level. And I want that ripple effect to just be vibrated outwards, and so that we can all live like really harmoniously and in love, and grounded and centered, and just doing whatever it is that lights us up and brings this world into a new existence and a new way of operating and living. And I really believe that it's possible, and to do so from a place of love and not of fear. And it's going to take all of us. So thank you.
Yeah, buddy. So good. So good. I feel all of that. And, thank you for everything you shared. Thank you for your impact on me, and thank you for just continuing to love yourself and show up for yourself. You know, I know some days can be very challenging, but it's always worth it. And I got a lot of love for you, brother. Got a lot of love for you.
Right back at you.
Okay, I'll give one final update. I started, it's either 149 or 150 pounds. I'm at 130.2 pounds. I think my body fat was about 13% when it started. It's like 9.5. Again, these might not be 100% accurate. I've lost about a little over 10 pounds of muscle mass, maybe about 11 pounds of muscle mass. I said one of my big fears was losing a lot of weight. So, but it's one of these things where it's just like, you know, even if it doesn't come back on super quick, it is it is what it is. You know, it's like, I care about feeling fucking good. I want to feel amazing, you know, and whatever way of living brings that, you know, and that is holistic, you know, that will mean that it is in harmony with the earth and all other beings, because that is what makes me feel best, you know, and whatever that means as far as ingesting my body, I'm going to do it, you know. And I'm so grateful that my systems, my body is in a place where it knows what that is, and the mind's not getting away in the way nearly as much. And like, that's a fucking gift. And I wish that for all of you. I wish that optimal health for everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to donate, it's very helpful. I've had to be off work to do this process, to really honor this process. So you'll see the GoFundMe link in the description. And next Wednesday will be our second last episode. And Sabina Kurz, who's the one who got me on to doing this water fast here, I did a Radiant Health program with her about a year ago. She's so inspiring. She brings so much great energy, and I know I've inspired her by doing this journey, and I'm like so grateful to be interviewing her this coming Wednesday at noon Eastern time. So you'll want to tune in for that. She's been living, I don't know if it's purely, but close to purely raw vegan for quite a while. And she's living radiantly, so I'll be excited to deep dive with her then. If you want to pick a consultation with Elliott, you will find his email in the description as well. Sending you all so much love. Have a beautiful Sunday, live here from Costa Rica. And we'll see you for the next episode as we heal.
You want to close with an Om?
All right. Take a nice deep breath in. The vibration of creation, they call it. Much love, Soul Tribe.
Sat Nam. Namaste.